Hey guys, here's a quick video for dividing numbers that have decimals. So before we get too far, there's something that I wanted to remind you about, and that's the equivalence of the different parts division problem. So remember that your dividend is always the number that is being divided by, whether it's underneath the bracket or if it's the first one. Okay. Your quotient is always the answer, or the solution, okay? And the divisor is what you're dividing it by. So if I wrote it, say that I have 10 divided by 5 equals 2, okay? It's the same as 10 divided by 5 equals 2. Okay, so keep that in mind as we go through this. First problem, we can start with 12 divided by 1.5. Remember, we want to set it up in the bracket because it's a little bit easier to go through. So we'll start with the bracket. We have 12. Remember, 12 is the same as 12.0, so I'm just going to put that there because I know I'm going to need to change the decimal. And I'm going to do 1.5. Okay, and remember, we need to change this into a whole number so that it's easier to divide. So to do that, I need to move my decimal, and I'm going to move it once. Okay, and what I do to one side, I need to do to the next side. So 1.5 becomes 15, and 12 becomes 120. And then I'm going to move my decimal up right away. That way I don't forget it. Okay? I know that 15 does not go into 1, so I can put a 0. I know that 15 does not go into 12, so I can put a 0. And I can estimate 15 to 120. I'd say, hey, it's pretty close to 10. Okay, but I know that 15 times 10 is 150. So it's got to be a little bit less than that. So let's try 15 times 7. Okay, 15 times 7, start with 5 and 7, is 35. 7 times 1 is 7, plus 3 is 10. So it's not quite, but almost there. So I can look at this a couple ways. I can redo the problem, or I can add 15. Let's just redo the problem because it'll be a little bit easier for some of you that way. So we can do 15 times 8. 5 times 8 is 40. 0, add my 4. 8 times 1 is 8, plus 4 is 12, 120. And it works out evenly. Didn't do that on purpose, but it worked. Okay, so 120, 0, and 8.0. So my solution is 8. My quotient is 8. Okay? Remember, it's important to make sure that we're moving that decimal and then put it up right away. Because if we don't, you don't want to forget about it. Okay? Let's try another one. 15 divided by 25 hundredths, or a quarter. Remember, you can turn this into a fraction if it will help you, and then solve it that way, or you can divide it this way, whichever works best for you. So, we're going to start drawing the bracket, and 15, and let's add those zeros again. Okay, what I do is I look at it here, and I say there are two decimal values, so I'm going to add those two zeros to begin with right away. If you do it a little bit differently, that's okay. Put my 0.25, and here's where I look at it and say I need to move it once, move it twice. So 25 hundredths turns into 25, and do the same here. Move it once, move it twice. So 15 becomes 1,500. And because I can, I'm going to erase this so it's a little bit clearer to see. Okay. And this decimal goes away, remember. And we move it here, and then go straight up right away. 25, and then we divide normally. 25 does not go into 1, does not go into 15. 25 does go into 150. I remember that 25 goes into 100, 4 times and 52 times. So 4 plus 2 is 6 for 150, which is 0. Bring down the 0 because I still have it in front of that decimal. That should be, there you go. Still have the decimal there. Okay, 25 goes into 0 times. And my solution is 60. And I can put a 0 up here again. That's not written very neatly, but I believe that you understand that's 60 for my quotient. And we can always check our work, remember? So let's come over here. 25 times 60. Bring down the 0. 6 times 5 is 30. 0. 3. 6 times 2 is 12. Plus 3 is 15. Now I have my 1500 here. That should be it.